Welcome back to the bonus stage. Now in this segment, I'll be giving you my first impressions of two boys' toys, as I would call them.
Not toy boys.
No, not toy boys. Boys' toys. Because, I mean, I take a look at all of these gadgets with a lot of features packed into it as... They're more like... Boys love this kind of like stuff. They play with it. And
boys and their toys, yeah.
Yeah, boys and their toys.
So it'll be good to get an impression of the female perspective, so to speak, right?
Yeah, and I tried my best to put these two gadgets to the test. Yeah. First up, I'll give you my impressions of the HTC Touch, which is...
HD.
HD, yes. Touch HD. Correct. Welcome to this episode on tech and games. In this segment, I'll be giving you my first impressions of two boys' toys, as I would call them. The HTC Touch HD and the HTC Dream, also known as the Google phone. First, I check out the HTC Touch HD Windows mobile device, what some people might call the cure to the iPhone that was released a year back. Right now, let's take a look at the hardware before we explore some of its functions. If you put the Touch HD next to the iPhone, you'll notice that the Touch HD is slightly larger than the iPhone. Good or bad, we let you decide. But for those who love the big screen, with a resolution of 800 by 480, just for your info, it's a small sacrifice worth paying for. The actual dimensions are 115 by 62.8 by 12 mm, and the weight is 146 grams. Relatively heavy for a mobile phone. Now the exterior of the phone is brilliantly minimalistic. We have the on-off button on the top, the volume button on the side, the stylus on the other side, and similarly to the HTC Diamond, the stylus has a magnetic function that secures the stylus into place with a click. At the bottom we have the mini USB charging port, so you can just plug it in for charging on your computer at work, or if you prefer to use a traditional AC port, you can do that as well. At the back of the phone, you'll notice a 5-megapixel camera. And if you just slide the cover off, very fuss-free and easy, you can insert your SIM card and micro SD card. Design-wise, the device is slick and sophisticated. In fact, if you notice, the design is more square than the iPhone. And while the iPhone screams fun and trendy, the HTC Touch HD gives off more of a classy and sophisticated vibe. So are you fun or are you classy? You decide. Now let's take a look at some of the functions. If you want to call someone, I like how the Touch HD sorts all of your contacts like an address book with alphabetical tabs on the side. This will be especially useful for people who have plenty of contacts and don't have the time to scroll through the whole list. Even better, you can save quick dial numbers to the People tab, where you can click on a photo and easily call, email, SMS, or MMS that person. Moving on to the messaging function. Something quite useful is that you can sort your messages by message type, who it's from, when it was received, or by the subject. If you want to reply, the digital touch keyboard pops up. However, unlike the iPhone where you can easily type a message using your fingers, the Touch HD is designed to be used more by the stylus. So unless you've got stick-thin fingers, you might have a bit of trouble finger typing. The internet function allows you to connect to Opera 9.5 browser, and you can easily add your favorite bookmarks. Downloading pages doesn't take too long either. It's probably just as fast as the iPhone Safari. However, do take note that there is no support for Flash for the Touch HD. Moving on to the camera and photo application. Now I quite like the easy use of the camera function, and the quality for 5 megapixels, it's not bad. Scrolling through the album is fun, and I liked how you can enlarge the pictures to fit the whole screen. Other functions you might find handy are the day's weather, games like Bubble Breaker, and the ability to check the stock markets.
Yeah, you know something cool about having, not having Daryl on the show is that we get opportunity to get first impressions of the layperson.
Yeah.
You would be that such person. It's no insult, no offense.
None taken.
Yep,
I'm actually quite happy with a phone that just calls and SMSs.
Yeah, no, that's true. You don't like games. I wouldn't say you don't like games, you don't like tech, but it's not something you're interested in outside of professional level, right?
Well, actually, that's hard to say. It's not my forte, but learning more about these gadgets today, it's quite interesting how much you can do with it, you know. I think that for the HTC, for people who
The Touch HD?
The Touch HD. For people who just can't bear to leave work because they just can't get away from their internet, internet addicts these days. This mobile device actually lets you pretty much stay connected,
because you and me used, I think it was an LG. We both used to use an LG.
Yeah.
LG phones are great. We just previewed the LG Prada not too long ago, LG Prada 2. There was Sarah and me on a previous episode of R.age. You know what? I've moved on from LG. LG Prada was a touch phone. This is also a touch phone. You also use a touch phone.
That's right.
I don't want you to compare both phones because they're two totally different phones, even though they're touch phones. But what do you think as someone who just got this phone just recently and you had some time with it?
Yeah.
As a layperson,
what do I think about the touch?
Does it enhance your life? Do you feel like it enhances your life?
I quite like the touch, and since I've gone into digital screens, and I wouldn't go back to the normal ones, I would say. More fun. It's fun to play with, I would say. Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit more about the hot functions, the hot features of the Touch HD?
It's hot, yeah.
Ooh la la.
Ooh la la.
Yeah, ooh la la.
Ooh la la. Is that turning you guys on?
Okay, well, first I have to hand it to the designers and engineers who have put in effort to make this device very user-friendly. It is fairly good to use and it's very intuitive. I love this function. So now it's on sleep mode, as you can see. So the stylus, which is on the right-hand side, all I have to do is
pull it out.
Ta-da! And it turns on by itself.
Yep. So there's a feature that was actually carried on from previous HTC phones.
Yeah.
Yep. But it's cool that it's brought back again. You know what? I would like to bring comparison back to the iPhone because when the iPhone is taking over the world basically. Everyone has everyone who's hip and cool and trendy has an iPhone. Supposedly hip, cool, and trendy. I chose not to get an iPhone because you know what? You can't forward messages and stuff like that.
Okay.
Now with the HTC Touch HD, it has Windows Mobile installed, so you can forward your messages. You can do most of the stuff which actually the iPhone can't do.
Yeah, it's a mini computer. It really
is. It is a mini computer.
Something else that I really liked, and it was a turn on, is this It's 3.5 mm headphone jack. So you don't have to buy the adapters anymore. You can just use whatever you like, and you can just slot it in. So that's what I really like, and what my current phone doesn't have.
That's right. For the iPhones and the iPod Touches, they use a proprietary sort of like headphone jack, so it's slightly smaller.
Yeah.
So you can't use standard earphone.
That's right. So you have to go back and you have to buy things in the brand, And I don't think. Well, I'm sure people would appreciate that.
Okay, you know what? When the iPhone came out, I wanted to get it really badly. The 3G iPhone 3G came out, I wanted it really badly, but I knew that HTC Touch HD was coming out, so I sort of waited for a while. I moved on to a different phone, but that's another story. But now, in hindsight, looking at these two phones, you know what? They're almost alike.
Yeah, that's very true.
Touch HD, the screen is slightly bigger than the iPhone, but it's negligible. The difference is negligible. Like you won't. It doesn't alter your experience with the phone,
Well, okay, what I mentioned earlier was that the Touch HD is slightly bigger than the iPhone.
Yeah.
And when I meant slightly, I should have enhanced very slightly, because as you can see, I'm holding it in my hands right now. You can't really tell the difference.
Side by side?
Side by side, okay. Does that... You can't really tell the difference.
Side by side this way?
Okay, side by side this way. The HTC Touch HD is slightly thicker. This one over here.
Yeah, it's just slightly thicker.
Just slightly thicker.
I think they both feel really good. Some people like that weight and that size in their hands. HTC, the Touch HD has like this rubber-coated plastic behind, which feels really good on the touch, and it doesn't leave what you call oil marks.
Yeah.
Like the iPhone 3G has, it's a fingerprint magnet.
Yes, that's true.
But it does. The iPhone 3G does feel slightly better because of its curved, its contour.
Exactly, and because of that, I find that the HTC tends to be more corporate, whereas the iPhone will always appeal to the more younger crowd. In my opinion, yeah. Another thing which I liked about HTC is scrolling for music. They kind of, let's just say that they were inspired by Mac, because they still have the scroll by artwork, music by artwork, which is very similar to the iTunes function that most of us are familiar with.
Okay, is there anything you didn't like? That your turn-offs?
Yes, there were.
Turn-offs? Anyone?
Okay, personally, when I was comparing the messaging system, because that's the function which I use the most, right? Call and message. The iPhone was slightly easier because you could use your fingertips and it was very easy, you know, to get the actual buttons. I think they're called buttons or symbols.
Yep.
The alphabetical symbols. They were slightly
Virtual keypad,
bigger.
yeah?
Yes, the virtual keypad was slightly bigger, so it's more finger-friendly.
On the iPhone, yeah?
On the iPhone.
Yeah.
Whereas the HTC, it seems to be more reliant on the use of the touch, the stylus. So you need, if you really want to navigate and not get any words touched incorrectly, then you need to use the stylus. So once
you don't
again,
really
more
have to,
corporate.
yeah. Maybe your fingernails are getting in the way.
Hey,
Okay, well, that was our first tech preview of the mobile gadget. That was the HTC Touch HD. Now let's move on to our next gadget, the HTC Dream.
Moving on to boys' toy number 2, the HTC Dream, also known as the Google phone. Well, as its name already implies, the Google phone is the ultimate communication experience on the go. You can easily access the Google Web Search, Gmail, Google Calendar, and Google Talk. In fact, it seems that these easy access to the internet functions blurs the lines between typing an SMS and typing a short email. Technology. Perhaps one day we won't even have such a thing called SMS. Anyways, the dimensions for the phone are 117.7 by 55.7 by 17.1 mm, and the weight is 158 grams. It's slightly heavier than the Touch HD, and it's rather bulky if you ask me. And the smallest screen is less attractive than the Touch HD's large one. Other than that, the design is rather sporty looking and seems to be more sturdy than the Touch HD. The swivel screen which opens up to the keypad is trendy and would appeal to the more younger audience than the Touch HD. Some of the unique functions about this phone is the Android barcode scanner. You can simply scan a barcode to find out all you need to know about the product. Perhaps for serious shoppers out there, you might find this rather useful. This Android technology also allows you to access free applications at the Android market, meaning that you can download and install fully customizable software, music, or games. Some of these include Compass and Facebook. Camera-wise, this device only allows up to 3.2 megapixels camera quality. Not fantastic quality, but good enough. Now in terms of navigation, the HTC Dream makes use of a swivel button at the bottom which allows you to scroll and click. You can also use your fingertips to navigate. No stylus is necessary for this device.
Ooh la la!
Now this is a fully integrated Google phone. That means you can Google all the way back home. You never really have to leave your office digitally. Good or bad, you decide. Also, the fluidity of the software works just as well as the iPhone, and it doesn't lag as much as the previous HTC devices do. Maybe I'm just a bit fussy, but when it comes to messaging, I like the process to be as simple and easy as can be. And while using this, I noticed that it was a bit uncomfortable because of this obstruction. As you can see, it's slightly more uncomfortable for my hands to be here. It would have been better if the hardware buttons were somewhere on the top or on the side. That way you could hold it similar to like a PSP. Unfortunately, the phone is only available with Singtel, so if you don't already have a contract with them, you'll have to start a new one.
Well, there you go, another episode of Bonus Stage. There was text, there were games. I'm happy, you are happy. My hair's by Jean Yip, and we gotta go. See you!
Bye.